Hi, I'm Denise Couling of Banfield Couling Law and Mediation in Brighton. I'm an attorney and mediator, and this video is to address the question, how does a streamlined divorce differ from traditional divorce litigation? In the notes below this video, I'm going to attach a link to a handout from our website at banfieldcouling.com that shows a timeline for a traditional divorce case and a streamlined divorce case. Now, this is a generalization, and it also involves our common experience here in Livingston County, Michigan, but we practice in a multi-county area. And the generalizations are going to apply in a general way across the board, but always be aware the specific requirements of your jurisdiction and your court could make a difference. So always consult with your own attorney and also be aware of the local rules in your particular county and your particular judge's, their set of protocols. Now, a streamlined divorce is a cooperative divorce process where the parties use a new Michigan fast-track procedure to basically front-end load the entire divorce case by agreeing to all the necessary judgments and court orders in advance. And then instead of a lawsuit, the parties file a mutual petition to enter their divorce. So it's a no-trial process. All of the work is done up front. And here at Banfield Couling, we have a process called Streamline Divorce, where we have forms that help our client work with their spouse to come up with a comprehensive agreement, which we custom draft, and then help them through the entire filing process using the new Michigan Fast Track divorce process. The Streamline Divorce is a service mark, a trade name that we use for this fast track process. But the fast track process is based on a mutual petition, two parties coming together to both request the same thing of the court. And that request is that they both agree they want a divorce and they've agreed to the terms of that divorce. On the other hand, traditional divorce litigation is a lawsuit. So when people talk about filing to get started, many of my clients who are using the streamlined process don't start by filing. They start by making the decision and then seeking out the forms and then starting to do the paperwork and get organized and putting their agreement together. So filing typically refers to starting a lawsuit. In a regular divorce action, one party is the plaintiff, that's who starts the lawsuit. The other party is the defendant. It's presumed they don't agree. They may agree, but the lawsuit has been started, and I call it the Runaway Train of Divorce. The parties are going down the track ever closer to the day of trial. And if they don't settle, there will be a trial. And a third party will decide custody, property division, issues regarding debts, issues regarding businesses, support. All of that is up in the hands of the judge in your case, unless the parties can come to a resolution on their own. So a typical divorce process using litigation can be very expensive. Along that path toward trial, you'll need to develop witness lists, exhibit lists, maybe have motions for temporary custody or temporary support. There may be issues involving a business that need to be addressed before the day of trial. There may be mediations. Usually in a litigation matter, mediation is on the eve of trial. So at that point, things are pretty far along and typically pretty fraught. And so if you have a chance to open up the link that's provided below this video to the difference in approach between a streamlined divorce and what I call old-fashioned divorce litigation, you'll see if there's going to be a settlement in a divorce litigation case, it typically happens somewhere down the line on that long track, often on the eve of trial, at which time the parties have spent a great deal of money. There's been a great deal of stress, often an emotional roller coaster. The children may have been exposed to a lot of tension during this whole process. And as you can see from our handout, those dollar signs rack up as time racks up. It's a very demanding process, demanding of your attorney, demanding of the parties. And there will be disclosures of information along the way. And if a party doesn't disclose the required information, or if it's not accessible, subpoenas, document production requests, depositions. So divorce using traditional litigation processes is quite an undertaking. It can be an ordeal, it can be smoother, and the party's own approach and attitude can have an enormous impact, as can the philosophy of their attorneys and their approach. And it can be sometimes kept more minimal because the parties don't need as much court assistance. And of course, we all know how demanding, fraught, and life-altering a divorce case can be when a child's custody is at issue and the parties go to trial, or the parties go to trial over their assets. So it's a daunting undertaking, no matter what, involving the biggest issues of your life. The question is, are the parties so far apart that that divorce path makes the most sense for them using traditional litigation? Or, as I often find, even if the parties can't agree on very much, they can agree they don't want a trial, and there are better ways to figure out a mutually acceptable way to handle their big issues than this trial process. Sometimes getting good information, sometimes having a mutual appraisal. There are ways in between simple forms and a full-blown trial to come to a mutual agreement before a filing, so the fast-track process can be used. So if you have a chance again to look at the handout that's below this video, that helps distinguish the major differences between Streamline Divorce using the fast-track Michigan process and traditional divorce litigation. Also below is a link to streamlinedivorce.com, where you can request our free book, Navigating Divorce in Michigan, the options to know before you file. And also there's a link to our law firm, BanfieldCouling.com, where we would be very happy to assist you with your personal questions, especially if you're in our main areas of practice. And if you are outside of our main areas of practice in terms of geographical distance, we hope that this video has been helpful so that you consult with your own local attorney and with a better understanding of what divorce litigation looks like, and maybe the options for a more fast-track process might be right for you, and exploring that as well. Thank you. I hope this was helpful, and appreciate the time and attention in watching this video. Thank you.